Welcome, everybody, and happy Saturday to another episode. Welcome you to another episode of In Your Circle. We have Angel and Kurt, and we have our special guests today. We have Craig of Bash Coder Reptiles, and we have Zach, who is wearing two hats. Not in real life, but, you know. Husbandry Pro and Parpart's Pythons.
I thought you saw me when I walked in here. I had my other hat on and then my Husbandry Pro. I swapped hats for the video.
You could have worn two hats. It would have worked, too. So we are here to hear about all of the updates and things that are coming with Husbandry Pro. And is your giveaway still going on too? If it is, we're going to hear about that.
Yes. Oh, man. Super excited about that one. So anyone, if you have ever ordered a shed test through Husbandry Pro, or if you order one before the last day of the year, you're entered into a drawing for a $1,000 credit. It's good for one breeder out of a list of 5. And you've got Billy from Mutation Creation. We've got Jason Kittinger from Kittinger Reptiles. You've got Jason Amos from Amos Reptiles. We've got Bob Vu from Bob's Balls and Brian Carter from BC's Balls and Reptilia. So between those 5, you're sure to find some super awesome snake, or, you know, some of those guys that might be like a down payment on a super awesome snake. And so that's every order you complete. That's not per test. So I do recommend, if you've got like several to test, bring in different orders. That gets you an entry for the whole completed order. You don't have to have the shed sent in. You just simply have to have it paid for. So if you're coming up to the end of the year and you've been waiting on something to shed, you can go ahead and just order your test to get your entry in if you want to. And if you've ordered a test and entered, you can go find our post on Facebook or Instagram, like, comment, and share, and that gets you a second entry for free. So
Very
that's
nice.
pretty cool. And it's all through Charlie, Gray Rider Reptiles, shedtesting.com. I'm sure a lot of y'all already know him, most of you maybe. Great guy. We're excited to do our shed testing through him. So, you know, if you're a Husbandry Pro user, you order your tests on there. You can click on the genetics on your screen where it says it and order your test right from that screen. And when you get your results back in, you get a nice little checkbox and you accept the results. And if you accept them, it'll push them over to your animal for you and update the genetics so you don't have to. And so that's nice. Cool. And then for those who don't use Husbandry Pro, you don't have to. Don't worry. Just go to husbandry.pro, click shed testing at the top, and we have the fastest guest checkout shed testing system ordering capabilities of anyone. You don't have to set up an account. You don't have to load your animal in. You don't have to do anything besides make up a ID number or use the ID number you already have and pick the test you want to order and pay. We'll email you the results. You also get a little code on your receipt. You can come back and spam, click the little button, where's my results, if you want to, but it won't take too long. Charlie's pretty fast. So that's pretty nice too. So if you're not a Husbandry Pro person, hey, you can still check it out, and you can use code HPShed10, and that will get you $10 off of your first shed test order through Husbandry Pro. So $40, come get a test, check something out. You're going to test stuff anyways. Check out the new system, see if you like it. Give us some feedback. Sorry, that was a lot.
We have things to test. No, that was great.
Nope, that was very eloquent as well.
And we didn't need an intro. You just did it right there.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good afternoon.
Roll credit. We're done.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it because like it's always sitting there flashing at you whenever I set up a new clutch. You know, if you got POS heads and stuff, it's like it's flashing at me in Husbandry Pro. Like, yeah, I know. I need to click the button and order a test. So I've got like all these little dangly bags over here. Charlie's like, send your tests in. Quit waiting until there's like 20. I'm always waiting on like one more to shed, and they just hang there. And I'm like, when that one sheds, I'm going to send them.
I'm guilty of that too.
We have
like
ones.
Sometimes I just need to go do it. We'll have the credit system in soon for those of you if you use the credits with Charlie. It's not the same credits, unfortunately. We weren't able to get that to work properly, but if you use Husbandry Pro, once you're out of credits with Charlie, you can just buy them on our system, and you'll be able to use the credits so you can get tests down as low as like $38 a test. It's half of that for your secondary tests. We will be adding the Choose 3 package that Charlie has also. That'll come out the same time that our credits roll out. It could be as early as next week. It'll definitely be before the contest is over. I'm actually testing that tonight, but you know, Thanksgiving's pushed that all a little bit with all of our testing and stuff. So, but look forward to that for those who are wanting to test a bunch of animals. You know, we'll have that nice credit system so you can get a discount on those tests. Turn that on silent.
Cool.
Yeah, we've used credits in the past. It's really makes it nice and convenient.
Yeah, especially if you're ordering testing anyways, I mean, like a lot of us, I don't know Angel here, but I know the rest of us are definitely, we're breeding stuff. We're going to be testing stuff continually. It's much better to buy the credits. So we were happy to get something worked out with Charlie where we're able to offer that to you for the same price that you get it from Charlie. Charlie's been really great with working with us on all this. So, there's no need to have to, we're trying to make it where Husbandry Pro, you can just do everything from there. Like I keep my Husbandry Pro open throughout the day on my second monitor. And, if someone sends an inquiry or something wants to buy an animal, I send my invoice through there. My Square's hooked up to it. A market sold, I put my information in there. That's my records. At the end of the year, I run a sales report, give it to my accountant, and I'm done. And we've got those reports already set up in our robust report server that's down there in little PDF reports, or you can drill into our filters for the reports. And I mean, it's a sheet of filters like this. You can find any kind of data you want. Not very many people utilize that part, but if you're an analytics freak like I am, or you're doing it larger scale and you need to keep track of all that stuff, might as well do it all there. Before I was having to go and do stuff in QuickBooks, go do stuff in Square, then come update my Husbandry Pro records and stuff. And now they're finishing up my website. We'll be able to offer that. We've got a couple on the horizon. We're doing the Harbins, and there's one other one.
So what does that mean? That means you're doing custom websites for breeders that link into Husbandry Pro's selling platform?
Absolutely. We already have the API, and it's free. It's free to our users. If you have your own website, if it's a WordPress or an open cart website, just submit a ticket and say, hey, I want to hook up the API to my system, and we will email you the plugins to plug it right in. And there's no additional charge for that. You get that for free. But after we finish rolling out mine and Billy's and Robert's websites, which should be done hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be officially opening that for sale. I think the packages start at like $1,000 and we'll build one for you. So if you don't have your own website, we'll build you one. And it's really nice. It's not some guy who made a website for you real quick. We have, developers. We have a dedicated web page developer who does nothing besides build web pages. Adam Proper got the first one. That was the trial run. I'm sure some of y'all have seen his website. It looks really nice. And we're doing something completely different for mine and for Billy's and for Robert's. So people have a good plethora of different websites to look at and see what we're capable of. Because, there's definitely different packages we can do and stuff. But it's not cookie cutter. For $1,000, you get a lot. You get really customizable. Your store integrates immediately. A couple settings you can set up, like on mine, when someone buys something on my website, it automatically moves it to on hold in Husbandry Pro. I get an email notification letting me know that they purchased something. Cool stuff like that. And so that'll be a cool one that we'll have available soon that we'll be able to offer people. But if you already have your own website, you can do it now. You get the plug-in. Everything's automatic. You can set it up to where, your inventory and Husbandry Pro is getting updated when they're buying stuff on your website. And you can set it up to sync. So those of y'all who have a website, if you're going in and doing Husbandry Pro listings, and then you're going in and making Morph Market listings, and then you have to go into your website and do listings, you're sick of it by the time you make it to your website. And websites take forever. You're like one at a time. You have to upload them. And, so if you've got that integration with Husbandry Pro, if you've got an open cart or WordPress, you can just plug it in. And so you never have to do that again. You just go in and hit your sync button as soon as you're done updating your Husbandry Pro, and it's going to automatically update everything, put those listings in just like they have for Adam there.
Yep. It's a really nice looking website. I was checking
out
out
this here where you've got a list of ball pythons right here, and you click on page 2, and then you get the page 2. This is what's driven by this interaction between your website and Husbandry Pro, and they use this term API, which stands for Application Programming Interface, and that is how different programs talk to each other. So this website can be talking to Husbandry Pro live in the background, so that you get some of the Husbandry Pro features right on your website. Also, it's mobile friendly. So look, if I drag this down to mobile size, it works on a phone. The design works on a phone. Just right with here's your menu, care sheet, about us. And then when you drag it wider, it acts more like a regular desktop website.
Yeah, and like mine that we're doing for me looks absolutely nothing like that. And that's the beauty of it. So you can get that there. We do the hosting also. You can do the hosting yourself if you'd like, but our hosting is only $25 a month, which is it's cheap. If you do a website already, that you can bring your website over to us and host it. Even if we didn't do your website, if you want to use us for hosting, we'll host it for $25 a month. And most places you get paid usually at least 50 plus. Some places you get like 45, but 25 cheap. And that's actually going to be free hosting for all of our commercial users. So if you have a commercial Husbandry Pro account and we build your website for you, you get all the hosting completely for free. So that's, saves you $50 a month right there also. That's a cool one that I'm kind of excited for us to be able to offer to people. It's not for everybody, but if we've actually had a lot of people plug into it though, once they found out we already have the program there to make it work with your website, because your OpenCart and WordPress are a lot of the most common ones you're going to have. And that's why we went with those.
So are you planning on releasing any additional new features with the new update of Husbandry Pro coming?
So we've talked about, we don't have any updates for our current version of Husbandry Pro working right now. The shed testing that we rolled out, there is a market. I'll talk about that here in a little bit, that we quietly rolled out as well. But that's basically all we have coming out for Husbandry Pro, our current platform. We're spending a lot of our time working on Husbandry Pro Next, which is going to be a whole new platform. It obviously everything works together. We will never force you to give up the old platform. If you like the way the current Husbandry Pro works, we will always maintain break repair on it. We will fix anything that breaks on it, and we'll keep it working. And we're never going to take that away, because there's some people who don't like change, some people who won't like the new system. And if you don't like it, stay where you're at. We're not going to do what other people do and take that old stuff away from you and force you to learn something new if you don't want to. But for those of us who want something a little newer, a little bit more simple to use, more streamlined, the options on the menu that we have are very great for Husbandry Pro. And Husbandry Pro Next, we're like this. We were able to remove swaths of screens into one screen, and a lot of it will be able to be done from the animal. Like you go to print labels from an animal, you don't get drug over here to this screen and then have to go back and do all that stuff anymore. Now you go into the animal, you print label, it pops up the label printer module. You do it all right there. You close it out. You're still on that screen in the background. So it's just so much more intuitive. We do not have a launch date for it. It'll be beta tested thoroughly before it gets launched to the public, and our partners and affiliates will get first beta access to it. We don't have a date for that as well. We're making sure that it's done properly. We've brought on some specific employees to do this because the new system we're building it on is Next.js. And that is the same system. It's built on top of the Meta platform, what Facebook and Instagram uses. And, we were actually still looking at some other options all the way up until recently, when Meta and Facebook and stuff doubled down and said that they were absolutely dumping millions of dollars into development for the Next.js or for the Meta platform. And they were going to be using that for potentially the next 20 years. It's going to be the new thing that everybody uses going forward, for the techies out there who like to ask me the questions about this stuff, this is going to be the replacement for PHP. This is the new thing. PHP has been the last 20, 25 years. And we expect that the Meta platform will be the next 20 years. It's smoother. It accesses data much better. For those of us who have several animals, when I go to pull up my list with 300 animals, it takes a second. On the Next.js system, you'll click on it. It'll just be instant. It's there. It's super awesome.
So part of the way that is, the JS in Next.js is JavaScript. And what that means is that more of the code is running in your browser on your device and not just on the server. Sort of the old PHP way is give me a web page, goes to the server designs the whole web page and delivers raw content to the browser. But when you're using Next.js, some of that is happening on your end. So that's why it feels so much faster. It's not having to send an entire page worth of stuff all at once. It's just sending you little components that update little pieces of your page.
Yeah, and to answer that question, yes, you'll be able to go back and forth. We're hoping it'll launch with all the base features that we'll have for the free tier and the first paid level tier. That's what we're shooting for, is to release next Husbandry Pro next in waves, and it'll be based on tier level. You know, like the breeding stuff will be added after the initial release, because that's going to be, you know, the second paid tier level whenever you get access to that. So it'll be the basic stuff. Everything talks to each other. You know, like if it's in one system, it's automatically in the other system. There's not going to be anything you got to do there. And you'll be able to just go back and forth. Like once we add stuff out, like, oh, I don't like the new breeding system. I liked it in the old platform better, but I like everything else in the new system. You'll be able to go to the old system, update your breeding plans in the old system, and that information will be in the new system. So that's been part of the slowdown, like honestly, is making sure, because it's a lot of back end coding to make sure all that's going to work smoothly for us to leave Husbandry Pro there for everyone. It would be much easier for us to switch everyone to the new platform when it comes out, just have all your data come over and just be like, hey, come on, this is where it's at now. But just not everyone's going to want to change. And we don't, you know, I've hated that. Our owner, Robert, he's hated that in the past about websites. You know, you use it, you get used to it. It's nice and familiar, and they change. And you're like, why? I spent 3 years learning where everything's at, and you just changed it all. Well, you don't have to go if you don't want to. You want to be stuck in your ways? We'll let you.
So what about the mobile app on iOS and Android? Does that stay mostly the same, or does that get an overhaul as well?
That gets an overhaul as well. The Next.js and Meta and everything, it's all much more app friendly, so much more iPhone friendly. That's the thing is, you know, as I've grown with the company and watched our metrics and stuff, our amount of iPhone users have gone from the smallest minority to we have more iPhone people use the iPhone app than anything else now. And they're the hardest to work with. It's, you know, and lots of companies, it's the reason that lots of companies have Android apps and not iPhone apps, because they are to work with them. But in the new system, the way the Meta and everything works with that, it's supposed to be all much smoother. You know, stuff that we do for Android should just work for iPhone. Instead of like now, we have to release an Android version every time, test it thoroughly. Then you have to start the process of iPhone. Long drawn out thing. It should be much faster in the future once we get in the new system.
I can tell you that we were. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Craig.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that I was dead set on using sticky notes and Google Sheets for a very long time. And then Kurt went through a period of time where his work was on strike, and Craig helped Kurt get everything set up in Husbandry Pro. And then Kurt was trying to teach me how to use it. And I said, no, you just have to let me struggle. Just let me find where everything is on my own. So Kurt and Craig and I were talking this morning about one of the things I like most about it is that I can do something one way and get the same result, and Kurt can do it a different way and get the same result. But we're both doing the same things, just a different way that works for us. Going through different screens.
There's definitely more than one way to skin a cat in Husbandry Pro.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll be smoothing a bit of that out in the next system, but honestly, what works for somebody with 5 animals does not work for somebody with 500. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And so there has to be different ways to do things. You know, and that's, you know, with the current system, we've never taken anything away from anyone. If we added it to Husbandry Pro, it's still there from day one. And we've stuck with that. Well, the next system is how we can get away from that, because we're going to consolidate, condense some stuff, you know. So there might be one feature or something that you like about the old system. And like someone commented about migrating, there's no migrating. It's just there. Once you go to the new system and you plug it in, it's just automatic. You make a change here, it's made over there. You don't have to go through and click sync buttons or migrate stuff back and forth. It's going to be on both systems simultaneously. There's not an extra fee for this or anything. You know, we're not going to charge our current users to buy the new version of the system. You know, that'd be crazy. So it's going to be, it'll be nice. It'll be fluid. And that's why it's been a little slowed down. You know, I've slowed it down a bit, you know, because I want to make sure it's so nice, because Husbandry Pro we have now, it's good. It works great. It does a lot of things for everyone. So there's not really a super rush to get the next system out. And we care more about it coming out smooth and everything proper and intuitive and user friendly. So we've taken a lot more time to focus on stuff like that. So that's why we haven't given it an exact timeline. We don't want to rush it. We'd rather it come out right. We know that it'll probably be available for some beta testing the beginning part of the year, first quarter-ish, for ballpark timelines. And if everything goes well, end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter, maybe a launch for our free and first paid tier, hopefully.
That's great. So it's a massive undertaking to completely replace the guts of a software app. What was sort of the prime driver to make you say, we really need to rewrite this and do it in a completely new platform? What was sort of the main reason?
So one of my first tasks with the company was kind of overhauling our intro and tutorial and onboarding and stuff whenever we got there, because it wasn't the best. It was
more waterboarding than onboarding.
Yeah. And even still, it's like we started looking at all the things you can do in the system. And it's like our tutorial, it was going to be like learning, a CRM for a major company. Like I was talking about, like we would need tutorial modules where you would have to spend, some time, or like her, which is how I find everything. You just got to play with it. You got to spend some time. Like, let me click on this. What's this do? What's this do? And just look through everything to figure stuff out. And, and so we started talking about that, like how we could make it better. And we started linking some systems. Like y'all probably noticed some linking of stuff this year. Some stuff that we just quietly changed, like, like now stuff will take you over to the label maker. And when you're done, you can click a button and it'll take you right back. Before you had to go out, go to the label maker, go in here, go there, then go back to the screen, go back to your sets and stuff. So
click utilities under there to the label maker. Yeah.
Yeah. So we started plugging some of that stuff in, and it was just like, you seem, a little bit more about this stuff, like the coding just grows and grows and grows. The longer this thing gets here, the more we add stuff in. And then when you add it to one section, it's a pain to add it to a different section. It's not easy like in the new system. And so we started looking at, the new latest greatest, because we were working on a different project completely unrelated, and they wanted something better. And so we started looking at different platforms, and we came up with Next.js and started playing with it, and started realizing how awesome it can be, because like right now, if we add something on one screen, it's not as simple as just, oh, it's already there, just take it to the other screen. There's more coding involved. But in Next.js, we build a module once. We can stick it wherever we want. It's there. You can access it. It's like, hey, why can't I don't have this in this screen, but it's on this other screen? It's 15 seconds for me to add it. And I don't even know how to code, because I know how to go in, add that, click the little add module button. The system's so user-friendly for us to add stuff. I can change fonts, texts, colors, and stuff like that. And I don't know anything about coding. I don't even know half the words I'm saying to y'all right now about coding stuff. I'm here to be nice to people and talk to people about the system and how they use it and stuff. But whenever it comes time to the operating side of it, it's pretty complex, and we've got a lot of developers for that. And the Next.js system it makes things easier. It's easier to update stuff. Once we get it rolled out, y'all see, we're able to update stuff much faster. All of the adding stuff, there's less bugs. It basically bug tests itself when you plug it in, and so the testing on everything is much easier. So it's just easier all around. It's better. It's next. It's the next thing.
That's the name. No, I have been loving it. I took a video, or did a video the other day where I was going through our rack and fed 4 animals, and how fast it is just to document feeding 4 animals when you're not feeding your whole entire rack. It was so much faster than going into our Google Sheets, scrolling across the bottom, trying to find the snake's name, putting it in there, typing it in. There's drop-down menus for everything. All I have to do is click them. It's great.
Yeah, I use quick screens for everything. And it's crazy. Like I know people, lots of our partners and stuff use the rack view. And I'm like, I had to go turn it back on to look at stuff the other day. And I'm like, I quit using that like 2 years ago because I moved my animals around. Like I'm OCD. I can't have any sub anywhere. So I move everything. Anytime I move a snake, everything in the room gets rotated.
And that's a lot of work if you're using the rack system.
Yeah.
Because basically you have to tell Husbandry Pro which tub it's in. But the beauty is once you have that, you can feed a whole rack and just mark the whole rack as having been fed. That's the beauty of it. If you want to track your feedings and stuff like that, it lets you do these batch actions if you're using the rack part. But it's optional to use, right? I don't use it, and it doesn't.
I go through quick activities, because I like everything in all of my screens I have set up to look like Excel. I love Excel. I was an Excel analytics guy, and so like people have like the cool graphics tiles on Animal View and stuff, and I'm like, what's that look like? Like. I just know from helping test it out originally and some of that stuff, but it's like all of mine are Excel. I go into quick activities, filter, highlight mass rows, click buttons. Sometimes I feed all 278 animals at one click. Highlight all, feed all, enter, done. Everybody ate. Very rarely happens. Maybe once a year.
But to that point, though, a lot of people will do a big bulk feeding and then only go in and mark the ones that didn't. Like you can mark, instead of doing an action and a scan and a quick activity, every time you put a rat in, you do a scan and a quick activity, just scan the whole rack in, except for the ones that didn't eat. So if 4 of them didn't eat, it's way simpler to go and handle that for the 4 that didn't eat. This is what Billy does anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And we've added so much stuff that actually makes the, rack view much easier to use. Actually, a lot of it was me who got it all added in. It's the reason I stopped using the rack view in the original when we first had it, because it wasn't the most intuitive. And so we had a bunch of stuff change. Now you can drag animals around. You didn't used to be able to do that. It's much easier to move your collection now than it used to be. And then we added all those bulk features where you can just click to feed the whole rack, unclick a couple to mark as, skipped, have a toggle switch to automatically move their feeding dates, all that stuff. It's funny, like I had all that stuff added in, but I found other ways to use the system without it in the beginning. And now it's like there's whole processes, like, oh, if I use the rack view, now I use the rack view. That's for everything. You can do it all from there. So it's crazy how people use the system differently, and I see it a lot. People ask me like, hey, can you look at this? Can you help me out with this? And I'm like, what's that? And I have to go play with my settings. And I'm like, oh, that's where that is. Okay.
So Travis has a question for you, Zac. It says, if you have less than 200 snakes, is there a benefit to have the breeder version versus the collection version?
Oh, I'm sure there is. I don't have it up in front. I don't have my package levels up in front of me to see what the difference is. I know that your commercial level and your breeder level, the top 2 tiers, the only difference is the data cap and the animal list. And if you're commercial, you can email ticket support. Like basically, if you're commercial, you can message me and I'll personally answer all your questions. I said it. You heard it here. So they get a little bit better. They get a little bit better customer support from the commercial level. From the collector to the breeder, I do believe you get all of your store features and stuff, and that's a big one. For if you're looking at the hobbyist versus the collector, you want to go up so you get your dedicated storefront. But I don't know. Let's talk about another question. I'll pull it up and figure it out real quick. Maybe.
I've got it shared right here.
Here, yep. I was just getting it too. Craig beat me. I was staring at it. Good job, Craig.
Scroll up a little bit. What's the difference on the breeder versus the commercial? I think it's some of the plugins. They all get the QR. You got the animal limit. You get your additional users. So it depends on what you do. Like if you've got like I've got employees and stuff. If you got people, you need extra users who have their own user base. That's a good one that you get in there. So like my daughter has her own user thing set up, and I can go and see what she did versus what I did and undo her actions if she messes my stuff up, which is nice because before. Well, I never even thought about that. I didn't know it was part of it. I just always let my daughter log into my system until like some of my stuff got messed up. And I was like, man, and she's all like, it wasn't me, Dad. And I'm like, no, that was you. And it's like, I was talking to Robert about it. And he's like, set her up her own user. You got a commercial account. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's a good one. Do they all have the 2-factor?
Honestly, if you have 200 animals, the collector is a great place to be. Until you find out that you need some more of these features, like because you still get what are some of the core things here of Husbandry Pro? First, being able to track your husbandry steps that you do. The ability to
go ahead.
Yeah, like feeding or cleaning or sheds or weight, keeping track of your weight, keeping track of follicle size and stuff like that. And then it's being able to plan your breeding and be able to say, this year, this is my breeding plan. And the beauty of that is that when you go to pair a female, it already knows which male it's going to pair with. And it's very easy because you just say, pair this female, and it'll say, oh, you mean with this male like you have in your breeding plan, your current active breeding plan. The breeder is for up to 500 animals. You do get some more premium support, but maybe you don't need that stuff yet.
You get a lot of the plugins and stuff there too. Like people who want to do a little bit more monitoring, a little bit more using Husbandry Pro for like the one page on your business,
like spider web.
Yeah, it doesn't list them specifically, but all of the other connections we have there are linked in there with that package as well. Like there's one for that we've either added it or we're about to add it for the what is it, Ryan McVeigh. His new sensors. We added some integration for his new sensors system that he's got, and we're working on some integration for his lighting. He's got some lighting stuff where there's an app for it, and we're going to have some integration for that. So all that stuff, all those extra plugins come in at that package level. You also get like your breeder loan system. So if you're sending a lot of animals back and forth, like you have a business partner, some people, it's common in this hobby. You have different people with different collections, and you're sending animals here and there. Some of those stuff like the breeder loan system, you can do the shared animal system. That's in there as well. So just a little bit extra business management tools.
Travis has another question for you. He said, if you pay for a yearly subscription and you want to upgrade during the year, is it prorated or do you start over the new year subscription?
That's prorated.
Look at that.
Do know that.
Travis has been thinking about getting a Husbandry Pro account. I know that. So I'm glad he's here to ask you all the questions.
Do we got any partners in here? I don't see any partners. I'll throw up my code. You can use code Parpart60 to get 2 free months. Let's check it out. If you've tried it before, I threw it up in the chat. If you've tried it before, as long as it's been more than 60 days, I believe you should be able to use that coupon for another free trial. We're not trial stingy.
You'd rather have people try it out and like it.
That's right.
There's another way to get Husbandry Pro, and that is through Billy's Patreon. If you are at certain levels of Billy's Patreon for Mutation Creation, then you get certain levels of Husbandry Pro for free as part of that. Now, the sales guy sitting right next to me probably doesn't want me saying that, but you can get it through Billy's.
You
can go give Billy all your money.
Look at Keys said he used that coupon code today. Good job, T.
Nice.
Good job, T.
Yeah. So when you're just entering your account, and I've had to go back through now twice because we made a lot of changes. It can be overwhelming, but as long as people stick with it, it saves you a lot of time in the long run. It is really fluid and smooth to use, but you just got to put that little bit of time in to get comfortable with it.
And I know we haven't even scratched the surface of things that we can do with it. Like, I didn't even realize that when you buy a snake from someone or you sell a snake that we can send the animal report. I knew we could link our Husbandry Pro or send over our Husbandry Pro info like Billy does with us when we get it. But we got a snake from Lindworm Exotics, and they had this whole cool report that came with it. My mind was
the sales sheet.
Yes, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. So you got the sales sheet you can print off, which are fully custom. I mean, borderline fully customizable. So your sales sheet doesn't look like the next guy's sales sheet. Like Brian Carter has a really nice one. It has the lineage on there, shows pictures of the adults because he's super awesome about keeping his pictures updated. Or you can just transfer the animal altogether, through the animal transfer system. And I like that because you can send what you want to send, bring in what you want to bring in. Plus, it gives you a nice little pop up there where like you had a different ID number and I bought a snake from you and I want to change it. It'll give you a nice little option. plug in your new ID number form, boom, click the button, all those pictures, the records, whatever the breeder sent over to you, it's all in your system now.
We're
And
losing some of your audio. There, it's back.
There, you're back.
And you can send it to people who don't have Husbandry Pro. You can still transfer your animal out to them. They'll get a little email with a little link that offers it. I do know that there's some people who use it just for their data, for their records from other users that they bought animals from. I've got a buddy who does it, and he's got like 15 animals from me. And he set up a free account. He transferred the animals in, and then he archives it because he doesn't use Husbandry Pro. But he can log in there, see the records for all the animals that he's bought from people who have Husbandry Pro. So he does use it just to keep his records like that. So that's kind of cool.
I really liked the paper report. There was a picture and all the information about the snake we got. It really was nicer than handwriting everything. Which we did.
So speaking of paper, Angel, you do yours. You do all your stuff in either spreadsheets or on old school on pen and paper, right?
That's right.
So what's the thing that you see in some of these programs that make you go, man, that's just too much, or this is the way I like to do it, or
I don't think they're too much, honestly. I don't think any type of husbandry system is too much. I think Husbandry Pro is cool. I've seen it. I was hanging out with Dylan from These Balls, and he uses it, and I was checking it out. I think it's really cool. I just have my way.
I get it, man. Like I started off, man, Excel. I'm an Excel lover. I had sheets everywhere.
Yeah, honestly, I'm an Excel. That was like last year I started that shit. I've been pen and paper for 25 years, and I think for me too, I've never let my collection get to a size that I couldn't. You can ask me a question, I know, but that's just me. This is how I've always done it. It's just what works for me. I think integrating into a Husbandry Pro type system would benefit me if I had a bigger collection that I needed a little bit more help with. And who's to say I wouldn't do it in the future, if it does grow. But for me, it's relatively small collection. And again, I just have my way. I walk in, I see everything I need. It's all right there in front of me, the way I have it all set up.
I'll tell people that's the hardest part.
Visual, so if I'm thinking of something, if I'm on, and I've done it this way, where I've had it all on the computer and I'm typing shit, and the first thing I do is I close it and walk right into the room, and I got to look at everything. I have to look, and then it just all comes together, and then I start writing, and just kind of go around, and then I'm done, and I feel accomplished, and I'm done, and then I have a book, and it's all in the book. So if I need to, I have the book for quick reference. But even with the book, I got to get up. No matter what is in my hand, electronic or otherwise, I have to be in the room and I have to physically look at everybody. And that's just how I've always been.
I feel you, dude. I roll around with it. I have a tablet. I have tablets for in my reptile facility, and I roll around on a chair. I have to, especially identifying snakes. Man, when I don't like converting a clutch and putting them in the system and then having to go and edit all their genetics. So I want to identify them while I'm putting them in. You got to come change stuff as they shed and stuff sometimes. But, I roll around with my tablet. I'm sitting right there in front of the clutches no, that's got to be the fire. No, look at this one. It's I need to be able to see them right there in front of me. So I do everything on my little tablet. And that's nice.
I think for me, I think one of the nice things about the application is that it doesn't really force you into a way to work. It just gives you a lot of options for ways to work. So one of the things I started doing is going back to markers on my tubs for follicle sizes. Why? Because it was easier for me, like Angel was saying, it was easier for me to see who was ready to pair based on their follicle size just by looking at a number on a tub. But I don't have everything there. Just, it's not like I need a whole clutch card worth of information on every tub. I've just got 18, and to me that helps. So there are a few things like that. And sometimes the weight, if I'm really worried about a weight on a particular animal, I'll put the weight on the outside as well. But I still log the follicle sizes in Husbandry Pro, but it's easier for me to just sort of see it, that one data point.
Oh yeah, dude. And mine's hodgepodge too. Like I'm the worst. Like if you look at my hatchling tubs, every hatchling tub has 5 marks on it, except for the couple that haven't made it to 5 marks yet. I still mark on there who's had 5 feeding, because if they skip a feeding, like I record all that in my Husbandry Pro, but when I'm going through feeding, I want to see that right there. So I mean, that's just how I've adapted my processes to work with the system. Like I wipe out all the marks as soon as they freaking skip a feeding if they don't hit to number 5 first. And then we start over. I've got records. Yeah, they've eaten 9 times total, but they didn't eat 5 in a row. Obviously, that's a problem feeder. I know when I go through there to spend a little time working on that one, making sure I usually hand feed, do distracting things, get them to eat under crazy situations, and work on making them more reliable. But yeah, definitely get it. You gotta merge all that stuff together. And that's why I tell people, like especially new people, if you're thinking about start now, like that's the number one hurdle is adapting your processes and procedures to work with something new. I get so many people who switch over after years of use, and they just can't give up their old habits die hard, right? It's like, this is just convenient for you. It's easy. It's not that this is harder to do or anything. It's just not habit. And so that's why it's like, you're waiting, you want to wait until you're a bigger breeder or you got more snakes. The longer you wait, the harder it is to get all your animals in, the harder it is to adapt your processes and procedures to it. Start now.
One of the interesting things, go ahead.
Big benefits to Husbandry Pro. It would have helped retroactively. One of the guys, we bought his collection because he was moving, and a year before we bought it, he had a fire in his snake room or house, or I can't remember where he had his snakes, and basically the only thing that was critically damaged was all of his husbandry records. So we got this collection with no data, and it was guess what this is, guess what that is, try to figure it out. And if he would have had something like Husbandry Pro, it all would have been there backed up, wouldn't have anything to worry about.
One of my biggest things for me personally, I'm in my 40s now. My dad had quadruple heart bypass and had died on the operating table twice by the time he was my age. And that means a lot to me that my wife can come in here if something happened to me and know what my animals are and be able to, give that to somebody to help out with stuff. Versus, she's not going to be able to pick my brain on stuff, so whatever records I've got for her that she can digitally access, that's going to be all she's got.
Yeah, so it's a really nice fail safe to have.
Make it serious and somber real quick.
Yeah.
You
live a long and healthy life, Zac.
Yeah.
Drinking my water after the monster. I got to watch the monster down.
One of the side effects of getting all your animals in the system is suddenly you have a Rolodex of all your suppliers. And at one point I had gotten all my animals in when I first started, and I'm like, holy crap, I have 50 people that I've bought animals from. And being able to sort of track where you got things from is really important. The number one discipline I have to keep having is I'll go to a show and buy something and bring it home, and you got to get it in Husbandry Pro right away. Otherwise, I got to go back and look at my Instagram post to see what genes are in this animal. And so what I often do, like I came home from St. Louis shipping myself an animal, and still over on the tub it just says St. Louis, and and I have to go reach out to Yeti Morphs and say, what was that exactly that I bought? I forget all the genes in that animal.
And then you're hoping that Yeti keeps good records, because I bug shit out of Yeti, and I know he doesn't use Husbandry Pro. I hope you're watching this, Yeti.
Okay. You now have a snake with just the St. Louis morph. That's it.
Yeah, it's St. Louis. It's Stranger Clouds and other stuff.
I got it like 8 months ago, and I've already put in so many snakes since then, and I go back and I see it, and I'm like, how do I keep forgetting this snake? And then by the time I go in the front room, my ADHD is just like, squirrel. Or 3 people have messaged me for work-related stuff or something, and it's just like, I've still got this snake with just some stuff, right? And it's like half of it's been smeared off by one of my employees. I'm not quite entirely sure. I know it's an ivory pied, something, and where I got it from. And he'll know when I'm messaging. He's got good records. He uses Husbandry Pro. but he didn't transfer it to me. I hope he's watching this.
I think there's a benefit too. You don't have to have 100 animals to make it worthwhile to use. I think there's benefit to the free tier. As a matter of fact, if you want to try it out at the free tier, just put in 5 animals worth and use it on 5 animals and see what you think, you know. And more often than not, the two features I really don't use is I don't use feeder tracking and I don't use the rack system, but everything else I've figured out a way to use. And I find that having labels is a game changer. having labels with ID numbers, a QR code you can scan, just having that is a total game changer, even for 5 animals. So it's worth trying.
And we live by the rack system over here. Like everything is through the rack system. So
well, and a good one is like when you get that free trial, if you do, we offer a 30-day free trial. If you just go to the website, everyone gets a 30-day free trial. It's for whatever package level you want. Always pick commercial. Doesn't matter how many animals you have, pick commercial. Try everything. If you have a lot of animals, one of the things that I found works best for people is don't sit there and waste your 2-month free trial hoping that you get the time to put your 400 animals in. Instead, put in one rack or one section, one species, and do a test and set them up and take the time to set up those and then run those next to your other ones and do new processes through Husbandry Pro here and do your old process here. And then when your trial's over, look and see, man, is this faster on these animals? Does it get better? You know, because that's part of it. Number one thing is, I started a trial. I never put my animals in. And it's because they have 200, 400 animals. And it's just such a daunting task. They never even try the system. They don't know if they like it.
And just remember, when you're trying anything, it takes time to build the habit. So it's going to feel clunky for a little while, and then it won't after a while, once you build the habit.
And men specifically, I'm talking to you. Yeah, you're the ones. Quit skipping the tutorial. Do the tutorial and the onboarding.
I don't need no instructions.
Dude, it saves you so much time. I can't tell you how many people skip it, and they're like, I clicked the button to do something. There's no activities. There's no nothing. This doesn't work. And I'm like, you skipped the tutorial, didn't you? They're like, yeah, why? I was like, yeah. Now you got to go into settings, go through everything in one of the settings and set up your system, you know, because you're not going to have any activities. There's no default activities. You didn't set them up yet.
That's really funny.
That is really funny.
So one thing that happened to me last week was I was on a stream with Billy. And he said, Craig, you remember that Creed animal I sold you a year ago? And if I didn't have Husbandry Pro, I'd have to go look at all my animals to try to find one, look at the labels and try to find the one that had Creed in it. And all I had to do was go to my dashboard, go to animals, type in Creed, and I found, and Billy thought that I might have Scrambler in this animal. Okay. So instantly I was able to say, no, it wasn't Ultramel Billy. It was OD Creed Pied, Het Left, Pos Enchi, you know, and I know that because I had Husbandry Pro. I can't remember morphs. I can't just rattle off morphs like a lot of people remember. Like Billy remembers every freaking pairing he's ever done, you know. But so having that list to be able to have a kind of a Rolodex of my own animals is really helpful. It just answers questions really fast.
Yes. Yeah, like I'm the same way. Like I have to be able to look at my pairings to do them. I need them all in front of me. I need my list. It's like, I don't know, I'm visual. That's why that's why I gravitated to Husbandry Pro in the first place. Like we've got all these different designer feature or looks and views now that people use. But when we started, it was all the Excel grid view and I did everything in Excel. So it just felt familiar to like, you know, look at everything in Excel format and it was just easy for me to do. And now like I've got, man, don't even give me the line. It's at least 12, 13 species. And so I've got stuff eating 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days. And I've got some that actually eat every 5 weeks on my bigger boa girls. And so it's like, that's when I quit using anything in feedings for like 2 years. And then I started building out all these other species and I had to start using my feeding notifications again just to keep up with like, it gets daunting. You got 257 of them. It's like, did I
And they're
do
on
this
different
over
timings.
4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago?
Yep.
We got ball pythons and everything gets fed weekly. It wasn't that big of a deal. They all eat every week unless they're pregnant.
Good point.
Well, Zac, if anybody has questions, where's a good place for them to find you, or the best place to reach Husbandry Pro?
You can reach out to Husbandry Pro via social media on Instagram or Facebook at Husbandry Pro. You can submit IT tickets for anything IT technical related. If something's broken, please reach out inside the system through an IT ticket. It's down there under support, and launch one of those. I'm more than happy to talk with you about anything I can help with, but if it's something broken, technical support's going to have to help you. You can also reach out if you can't log into your system. There's a contact us form on the bottom, but reach out to me through social media. You get locked out or something, I can get you faster in that contact form. We're at average of less than 24-hour ticket time, so we get to you pretty fast. If you've got any business thing you need to reach out for, you can reach out to me directly through any of my Parpart's Pristine Python pages also, which are available on Facebook or Instagram. I'm publicly available, Zac Parpart. There's 2 of us. I've got a picture of my wife and kids on there. The other one's one of my cousins. I'm in Texas. Reach out to me on there. Shoot me a message. We'll chat it up. Got any questions? I'll
Look
help
at
you out.
this guy that's here. It's Billy.
Oh,
Hey,
great.
Billy.
Oh, it's Billy. What's up, Billy?
Oh. No, a couple things. Don't forget, you can get $10 off your shed tests by using code. Oh, now you got to remind me the code.
HP Shed 10. And speaking of Billy, Billy's on that list. He's one of those people you can get $1,000 credit to if you win. So make sure you get it test ordered soon.
Do it. And then congratulations to Wiz on the arrival of your new baby.
Congratulations,
coming
man.
to us from the delivery room.
That's
Go
awesome.
back and hold the baby. But we like you being here. But really, you should go hold the baby. And also, they're having an auction for having a ball pythons over on LMK's channel here in about 6 minutes. So you have time to run, go to the bathroom, get a beverage. We're going to have a $250 store credit and a custom T-shirt. So people don't even know the things we have over here. Angel does. Craig does. You might want a $250 store credit someday. Just saying. Get those sheds tested, get a Husbandry Pro membership, and use their 60-day free trial.
I'm going to post a link to the the auction that starts here in a few minutes.
Oh, thank you, Craig. And thank you, Craig and Zac, for both being here today.
Thanks for having me.
You guys cleared up a lot of people's questions about Husbandry Pro, so thanks for your time.
Yeah. Thank you both.
I
Have a wonderful rest of your day.
I don't know most of this stuff, so I was just sitting and listening. I'm usually talking. I just wanted to sit and listen and learn a bit. And I knew that you guys are going to throw me under the bus for not having it, and that's cool.
No,
I'm
no bus. You represent all the people who haven't used it yet.
I just wanted to sit and listen and see if it was going to work for me, and I'm hoping a lot of other people did the same.
Well,
And Travis, if you click that link that Craig threw in there, that'll take you to the auction that's coming up. So click the link. Send you right over. Sorry, Zac, I interrupted you.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I was looking for the link.
Well, thank you guys for being here. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and head over to the auction. You can see what's in there. See you guys soon.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
The ups and downs, we stay strong in your circle, that's where we belong. Lifting each other all day long, in this family we can't go wrong.